We get set for the girls 11-12 50 breaststroke. In lane 4, that's Abby Caskey for Cane Bay. 5 is Gabby Kelly for Cane Bay. 6 is Mia Rosillo for Somerville Y. 8 is Hannah Vermeer for Chamelon.
Okay, if you are swimming breaststroke, 13, 14, 15, 18, girls and boys, you should all be at the Clerker course. This is final call for all breaststrokers. Please report to the Clerker course. Thank you.
It's going to be cool. All 4 are going to be right there after breaststroke.
You guys still have some catching up to do.
Oh, I don't think we won there, but I still think
Not based on what I have. It's going to be close.
well, I mean, it's going to be 50 points.
All right, coming in here, that is Hannah Vermeer. We've lost the scoreboard again. We'll take the win there for the Somerville Y. Hopefully, there, we got it, 53.07 for Vermeer. As we get set for heat number 2 here, it's Layla Rose Toporek for Hobcon 1, May Harris for James Island in 2, and 3 is Ava Chapman for Legend Oaks, 4 is Ivy Gunn for Snee Farm, 5 is Finley Bowers for Shadow Moss, 6 is Mia Reed for Newington, 7 is Jocelyn Wood for Newington, 8 is Emily Cochran for Crowfield, 9 Maggie Durant for Hobcaw, and in 10 that's Gwen Epling for Ashboro. As we discussed on the broadcast yesterday, swimmers are allowed to do an underwater cycle. They are allowed to take one dolphin kick. They can pull all the way down to their side on the underwater cycle, not any other time in breaststroke. And then they take a breaststroke kick as Finley Bowers is pulling ahead of this heat. She will get there in 41.58. That's a drop of about 2 seconds for her. Ivy Gunn is second for Snee Farm in 43.20, trying to help her team's cause as they push for 8 in a row. Move on to heat number 3. That's Charlie Bonavita for Shadow Moss in 1. Sloan Pittard for Park Shores in 2. In lane 3 is London Hayward for Crowfield. 4 is Artie Perry for North Charleston. 5 is Cecilia Jakowski for Legend Oaks. 6 is Lila Mahoney from Daniel Island. 7 is London Miller for Ashboro. In lane 8 is Ava Overcash for James Island. 9 is Ivy Hicks from Daniel Island. And in 10 is Amelia Lennon for the Country Club.
I'm back now, David. Took a short break. How are we doing so far on the breaststroke?
No, you were gone. I didn't even notice. I didn't notice. Apparently Tara wasn't here. Who knew? As we are moving through this third of 4 heats, towards the top of your screen, Ava Overcash maybe just slightly in front. She comes in. No, it's Ari Perry, 39.28. Just barely over over London Miller, I should say. And Sloan Pittard is third. 3 swimmers under 40 there. 39.2, 39.3, and 39.5. As we are in the final heat now. In lane 1 is Lila Brooks Pearson for Northbridge. 2 is Ashlyn Cook for Park Shore. In 3 is Alex Ahrens for Long Point. In 4 is Aaron Lee for Long Point. 5 is Harper Cabello for Northbridge. 6, Finley Bennett for Snee Farm. In lane 7 is Carly Faust for Chamelon. 8 is Hadley Newland for Country Club. 9 is Isabella Nesselrode for Somerville Y. And in 10 is Gardner Robbins for Northbridge. Tight here as we come down to the wall, but it is Harper Cabello. We saw in that medley relay earlier, she gets it in 36.03. Second was Faust, third was Cook in that event.
So Avery Freese, who we saw earlier and we'll continue to see, will keep her record of 31.69. Here she comes, Harper Cabello with North Charleston. Great job keeping her head in line. So not a lot of movement from her head. Her body is doing the work.
This is the boys, the first heat. Owen Assel for Fort Johnson is in 4. Miller Horn for Country Club in 5. And Leon Tinkham for Crowfield in 6.
Fort Johnson swimmer did lose his goggles. We talked about this yesterday. Breaststroke, it's hard to pull him down, though, because you may end up taking your hand by the hips and get a disqualification. Many people may not know this, but breaststroke and butterfly are actually very similar. They're what we call the short axis stroke. So it's a chest press, hips high, kind of back and forth, not like a seesaw. You don't want to hinge. It's more of a cadence. And then freestyle and backstroke are what we call a long axis stroke, pretending there's a pole right down through the top of your head, down your spine to your tailbone. You rotate around it. So a lot of similarities with breaststroke and butterfly, and I'll talk more on that in just a second.
Tinkham winning this heat. He'll have a pretty enormous time drop here, down to 49.46.
Sophie Freeze walking by, telling David that her next race is for you. Wow.
Oh gosh.
All right,
what
David.
oh boy, Sophie. Oh boy.
Now,
I had no idea what she said. I couldn't hear her. I was calling the race.
So as I mentioned earlier, breaststroke and butterfly, both short axis strokes. As swimmers take their hands forward in breaststroke, you want to do that quickly and stay in the line, press the chest while you do your breaststroke kick.
Heat 2, lane 1 is Henry Vanderweel for the Country Club. 2 is Cruz Connolly for Fort Johnson. 3 is Micah Kukla for Ashboro. 4 is Jack Perry for Parkshore. 5 is Beckett Schleier for Hobcaw. 6 is Isaac Gemmin for James Island. 7 is Banks Cordray for Shadowmoss. 8 is Michael Silky from Ashboro. 9 is LJ Edge from Somerville White. And in 10, that's Cedric DeDeos from Cane Bay. Coming into the wall here, the win is going to go to Beckett Schleier in 41.75. It's a pretty nice time drop for him. Second was Gelman in 42.92. 42.91. And Micah Kukla was third.
There's Beckett giving a little smile after his race, watching on the finish. He does a nice job getting into the line. His hips are high. So in general in swimming, the higher your hips can be on any stroke, the faster you're going to be. There'll be less drag.
Heat 4, lane 1 is Landon Piscatelli for Newington. 2 is Angel Fernandez for James Island. And I'm calling the wrong heat, so good thing that they got called back for a false start. Might have to swim heat 4 before we swim heat 3, though, because these swimmers are already on the move. Let's see. Kyson Brown-Cobb there in lane 10 for Sneed Farm. He is, well, they noticed when they got to the wall. And Kyson and Del Cambrai Saint-Germain for Daniel Island. See who that was. That was Cooper Javier from North Charleston in lane 5, who got off the blocks early. Heat 4 is going to go first. So the winner most likely to come from this heat, but it won't be official because we'll still have one more heat to go. So a little bit confusing what's going to happen here, but we'll keep you posted on what is happening. Landon Piscatelli for Newington is in 1. Angel Fernandez for James Island in 2. Jason Chalupsky for Daniel Island in 3. Ian Clare for Chamelon in 4. Giovanni Sheffer from Sneed Farm in 5. Luke Odie from Newington in 6. Whit Parnell for Hobcaw in 7. Yidong Yi from Long Point in 8. Logan Patterson for Northbridge in 9. And Charlie Bradley from Northbridge in 10. And there goes Giovanni Sheffer. Tara, what do you see in his stroke?
Giovanni keeps his head still. He also has a huge advantage at this age because he's very tall, so he can use that off the wall. And he's really starting to get a handle of how to use his longer body. You know, sometimes when kids grow early, it turns into clumsiness. It's a lot to coordinate.
Giovanni Sheffer in 33.65 to take the win. Second place goes to Odie in 36.02. Third was Parnell in 36.73.
So here we are looking at his stroke. Like I said, sometimes kids grow early and it doesn't always mean instant success. I think Giovanni could have done a better job off his start. He didn't really use his height to his advantage, but he has been working on his technique, it looks like, this summer, and comes out with a win for Sneed Farm.
And those results will be official after this final heat here.
Now I do like is
Nope, we're not going to the final heat. We're going to swim heat 1 of girls first.
That's right, because we still need to do heat 3.
We still need to swim heat 3. So for heat 1 of breaststroke for the girls, 13-14, will be Carter Shoemaker from Country Club in 2, Hadley Huber for Fort Johnson in 4, Logan Taylor for Chamelon in 5, Aaron Angelos from Country Club in 6, and Madison Haywood for Ashboro in 7.
Great Chamelon underwater cycle with Logan Taylor in lane 4. That's a huge advantage, or a huge opportunity create advantage in breaststroke. So instead of doing butterfly kicks off the start and the turn, you do what's called an underwater cycle, or modern day we call it pull out, but I'm still calling it underwater cycle. That's what I grew up calling it.
Either way works. They mean the exact same thing.
You dive in a streamline, you're allowed 1 butterfly kick, and then 1 pull down. As David mentioned yesterday, it's the only stroke where your hands can go past your hip. It really is an underwater butterfly stroke. And then you finish that with a breaststroke kick, bringing your hands back above your head.
Logan Taylor for Chamelon in 43.82.
the strategy in that underwater cycle comes in where everyone's is going to be a little different. So some people dive in and kick right away. You want to have a little bit of a pause. Here we watch Shyamalan coming in on the finish, Logan Taylor. Great job to her. So take a look at that at home as you're watching how some swimmers get off the block and get a lot of distance off their underwater cycle.
We are on to heat 3 of the boys. We're backtracking a little bit. Michael Dolbo from Long Point in 1. Charlie Smith for Legend Oaks in 2. Simon Ford for Park Shore in 3. Grayson Kane for Legend Oaks in 4. Cooper Javier from North Charleston in 5. Christian Tybalt for North Charleston in 6. Del Cambre St. Germain for Daniel Island in 7. Dawson Capps from Shyamalan in 8. Del Cambre was from Daniel Island. Reed Aikman for Shadow Moss in 9. Kyson Brown Cobb for Snee Farm in 10.
So again, this is heat 3 of 4 from the 11-12 boys. We had a false start there. We think Giovanni Sheffer with Snee Farm will maintain the championship.
He already has. He's already secured that championship. The win in this heat will go to J Ford 22, Simon Ford in 38.89. That's probably, I think that's good for 10th overall. Second place went to Cooper Javier in 39.93. Grayson Kane third in 40.25.
Here comes Simon Ford. Very excited about his finish as we saw at the end there. As David mentioned, his swim from that heat will put him in the top 10.